Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 37 of the Big Fitness Show. My name is Stevie Richards. I'm still medium Stevie Cole, but joining me is the really big draw, the really big guy, Big Mike Burns. Hey, I have a surprise for you, Mike.
What's that?
I have another documentary if you want to watch it.
After last week, I'm cooling it on the
I'm not giving
documentary
you one day's
recommendations from
notice.
you.
I'm not giving you one day's notice anymore for you to text me. What the hell are you making me watch? No, we're past that. But we do in all sincerity want to thank everybody. That episode 36, has been very positively received
Yep.
and also has the most amount of views, watch time. And I'm so happy that our reaction and the way we fostered it and redirected it where we wanted to
Yeah.
as a cautionary tale, a PSA for our audience, because that's really who we were talking to. We might have been talking about Boogie 2988, but we were really trying to talk to each and every one of you out there. And this episode is going to continue that guidance of how you can avoid pitfalls and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
thanks, Mike. We're heading into the holidays. How you feeling about that?
I'm good. And that's what this episode is going to be about, is how we can make it through the holidays, making healthy choices through the holidays, because I feel like as we're recording this episode is going to come out the day before Thanksgiving. So it's going to be something that people struggle a lot during the holidays. Everybody, there's the thing gaining weight and all that kind of stuff. And in my years in the fitness industry, got any of those things? In my years in the fitness industry, I have, yes, there they are. Email Stevie back. In my years in the fitness industry, I've definitely seen a lot of people struggle during the holidays. And that's one of the hot topics, especially this time of year. People's like, how can I make it through the holidays? What can I do through the holidays? Different things like that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm excited to have this conversation.
I have a theory about that, and it's kind of encapsulated in the entire episode. We're going to try to make people or help people make healthier choices during the holidays, title of this episode. But I always have been under the biggest, like I would say, belief that if you can at least stick to 50% of your discipline, your willpower, your goals, dietary and working out, from Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve, before the big New Year, New You, all that stuff, if you can get that foundation, or at least be half successful with what you want to do, man, you're kicking ass.
Yeah.
Because most people are doing 0%, not even 5, 10, 15. If you can even take half the week and not eat the cookies at work, not eat the snacks, not overconsume even the good food, the turkey and stuff like that, you're on your way. You need to pat yourself on the back. Let's start with that, with a very encouraging mindset and way of looking at it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. With making it through that period of time, it's so tough, because when you go to work, everybody's bringing cookies, everybody's bringing treats, there's candy, there's leftovers, there's all kinds of stuff. And, I used to work in an office building, and that time of year, that's what it was. There was just snacks all over the place. And then, because it's the holidays, the boss would bring in donuts or whatever. And there was just always things to grab. And I think what I learned over that time is, if I could just avoid those random ones and give myself the day where you can splurge, like for me coming up, I have multiple, because we have, family, we do with my wife's side and then our side, and we get together and stuff. So there's going to be multiple Thanksgivings, multiple Christmases where there's going to be plenty of food. And I don't want to be so restrictive and be that weird person that's, well, I can't eat that, I can't eat anything. I want to enjoy the holidays and have fun. And I think that's where those other days, those random days in between, where you're not celebrating and having a good time with family, those are what really comes up and bites you. It's not the one day of Thanksgiving that maybe indulge a little bit. It's not the one day at Christmas that you maybe indulge. It's the whole month where you're indulging every day, because it's the holidays and there's snacks and treats and all that kind of stuff readily available. And everybody talks about, you were just talking about the New Year, New You deal. Yeah, that's cool. And get geared up for the new year, but don't set yourself backwards the month and a half prior to the new year, And I think that if people can get through that and really focus on, okay, so like this Saturday, I'm going to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving. I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat. There's going to be some good food there, and I'm going to eat whatever I want to eat because I want to eat and I want to enjoy it. But then I'm not going to eat like a turd on Sunday. I'm not going to eat like a turd on Monday. I'm not going to eat like a turd on Thursday, the rest of the week. But then getting together with my brothers and sisters the following Saturday, I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
My mom makes
So it's like
pumpkin
your
pie.
cheat day. It's like a cheat
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just cutting out those other days where you're not filling up the rest of the time through those non-event days.
What do you think about this? Now, I was going to bring up two questions. I think the first question, let's talk, it's a little bit, I guess, logistics type thing. Because with the
Mhm.
economy, with inflation, with all that stuff and everything, do you think that it's not going to be as prevalent in offices and buildings because everybody's being squeezed right now? Do you think those kind of auxiliary type parties and food things and snacks might be at least a net positive to some extent, that the companies or work or whatever may not be able to afford those pleasantries from past years? I mean, most people are saying they're not going to get Christmas bonuses. So
Sure.
would that translate into the food aspect of that?
Yeah, I see your point. I definitely see your point. My take on that would be that it would amplify the worst choices, the more bad choices, because the more bad the choice, the cheaper it is, unfortunately. Like
Oh,
companies
true. True.
would splurge on some donuts as opposed to bringing in eggs and bacon and healthy food for people to eat that day, right? And so I feel like their choices, because they're trying to save money yet still trying to show that they care about their employees, they will go for the cheaper option, which is usually the more artificial, more fake, more crappy food that's going to end up being more people. So I see your point. I mean, hopefully they just choose not to do it at all. That would be probably better than investing in shittier food.
Hey, just take the money. Just give us the
Yeah,
money, right?
yeah.
That's what we.
Instead
I
of
mean, that's
spending the
not
40
worth.
bucks a day, give us $2.
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth. The money's not worth anything with inflation now, anyway. But give
Right.
us the money. The other question I had for you, because I thought about this with, fasting. I've been kind of reading up on that and looking at fasting and
Yeah.
how it can reset your immune system, reset everything. And I've considered doing not just intermittent fasting, but on certain days, doing a full day of fasting. Now, the Muslims do Ramadan, and usually that
Sure.
cleanses everything out
Sure.
from what do they do it from sun up to sunset?
Yeah.
Then they eat after sunset.
Yeah.
So do you think after the Thanksgiving meal or after these cheat things, do you think it's good practice to follow up with at least if you're doing an intermittent fasting while you're eating, and maybe
Mhm.
a full day or two afterwards of just a water fast or just even a juice fast or something to kind of cleanse all that stuff out?
Yeah, so glad you brought that up, because I think that fasting around the holidays can be so beneficial. Um, Intermittent fasting, for people who aren't aware, that it's you stop eating at like 6 o'clock the night before, and then don't eat again until 11, 12 the next day, and try to break. You fast, and you fast most of the time while you're asleep, but you're taking a break and fasting, and your eating window is from noon to 6, and you eat just a normal meals, with normal food during that noon to 6. But then what you're doing is you're allowing your body to fast and to work and to trigger new things and new growth and whatever. So I think during the holidays, intermittent fasting is an incredible tool for people to use. I know for me, I'm doing it right now, because I'm trying to just, lean out as much as I can and eat within a shorter period of time. And I've noticed, yesterday I had to get some blood work done, or I just got a physical, and they were doing blood work, and you have to fast for the blood work. So I stopped eating Tuesday night at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. I was done eating for the night. And then I didn't eat again until noon. But at noon, I was just like, man, I don't even know if I'm really that hungry right now. I feel pretty good. I don't really want to eat too much. But I just felt good all day because I didn't have, and I just had water. Normally I'll drink like a pre-workout, or I'll have some coffee or something like that in the morning, but I had just had water all morning yesterday, because you're not supposed to have anything when you're getting blood work done. And so I did that, and I just felt great. And then so today I'm fasting right now. I've had a little bit of a pre-workout, but it's a low calorie one, so it's not crazy that it technically broke the fast, but it's not food. And so I just feel better on those days. And then I've been doing it this whole week, eating from like noon to 6 or 7 and then stopping. And it kind of kicks you into gear. And during the holidays, I think it's a great tool for people to implement and try. And specifically on those days, like this Saturday, I'm going to my aunt's. We're not eating until 5 o'clock. I don't think I'm going to fast from the night before till 5 PM. But I'm definitely going to fast until like noon or 1. And then that way I only eat a little bit at noon or 1 and then kind of splurge that night. So yes, that's a great point. Do you do that? Have you done that?
I've done it inadvertently lately. Well, after the infection, I needed to eat whatever I could to get my gut flora back. So I was eating a lot of probiotic rich stuff like Greek yogurt and things like that to just try to, because
Sure.
I had to do whatever I can to put weight back on, not
Yeah.
try to lean. I already leaned down involuntarily. By the way, do you think next week, episode 38, that we should do an episode on fasting and like one meal a day and
Oh, we can
different
certainly talk
stuff
about
like
it. Yeah.
let's follow up with that because it'll give people, I think, a good guide.
Cool.
So we don't just mention it. We can go deep dive and hopefully have the production elements to bring up pages and
Sure.
guides and stuff like that. So, and maybe we can even, because on Spotify, we can actually, I think, add an attachment. So maybe if we can find a PDF, we can share it with the audience. And that way there's a little bonus for people.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But at the very least, we'll focus on fasting, one meal a day, different types of fast, like water fasting, juice fasting, and give people an idea of what they can do.
Sounds great. Yeah, I love that idea. I think that'll be good. So tune in next week, people.
the thing that what the best pairing for me was probably the keto diet and fasting. Keto diet with intermittent fasting, because I could have like, keto hot chocolate in the morning. My pre-workout I had in the aminos. Keto seemed to not, there was more stuff you could have without breaking the fast. Where with a general fast, whatever has calories usually is it. But with the ketogenic diet, bulletproof coffee with heavy cream and MCT oil, aminos, stuff like that. So everything I did when I worked out up until when I broke the fast was easy to do.
Yeah.
And you know what it did? We're getting into it, but just a little more of a preview. Dude, when I don't have to eat every 3 hours, I'm in this office or out there working and doing stuff, and you lose track of time. It's easier than you think to stretch the fast out to what you need to do. So it's going to be an excellent tool for people. But the other thing I would say is eat a lot of food, but try not to eat empty calories. Like you just said, there's candy or donuts and such. We're not talking about turkey and sweet potatoes and green bean casserole and legitimate foods.
Yeah,
you can over consume those, and overconsumption is another thing. But I can eat a lot of good food, and then it'll be great. But when I start eating candy and drinking soda and sweet tea now, nothing can fill me up doing that. So I would say there's lots of choices without insulting your family and friends that you aren't eating.
Sure.
But at the same time, German chocolate cake, all this other stuff is just. I'm not saying they're not good, but
no, that's good, man. I think what you're saying there is prioritize the protein aspect of it, and it's when you're having these meals, if you prioritize the meat, prioritize the protein, prioritize the vegetables. Yes, a lot of times the sweet potatoes get sugared up and all that kind of stuff. I get it.
Marshmallows on top.
Right.
Like that,
But even so, like it's still a sweet potato at its core, right? There's a little extra sugar to it, but fill up on those things. It's crazy. I had Thanksgiving with my wife's side of the family a week ago, and I filled up on turkey and some ham and mashed potatoes. And then I had some sweet potatoes too, but I filled up on those things. And then my treats were at a minimum. I had one piece of cherry pie, and that was well, okay. So yes, I had one piece of cherry pie, and then my wife's cousin, his wife makes this grape salad, and it's literally grapes with like cream cheese. Dude, so good.
I've had that. It's like an ambrosia type thing, right?
Oh man, yeah, it was like heaven. It's so good. And I ate it, and I ate a lot of it, but I justified it because it's grapes and cream cheese. It's so like it wasn't.
So you're on like the keto and fruitarian diet at the same time.
But I prioritized the protein that day. So I got plenty of protein. I got plenty of food. I was full. I felt like I ate good. I had a little bit of stuffing. I didn't overdo it on the stuffing because I ate so much of the protein first and really focused on eating that. And then that way I wasn't able to overindulge on the other stuff, And so like, it really made a difference when I prioritized the protein.
Let's ask you this question, because usually if you eat like a carb heavy day or a feeder day, some people call it when you're carb cycling, usually it'll do like a heavy deadlift, a heavy squat day. A lot of people think doing a ton of cardio to be like, well, if I eat 1,000 calories over, I have to burn 1,000 calories on the treadmill
sure.
or the bike or whatever. But I've heard recently in recent years that a lower body compound lift or a full body workout that's pretty heavy is the way to go the day after a heavy carb day. Is that what you would suggest?
Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely think that's a good time to hit a heavy day because you got the extra glycogen stores and the extra fuel from the night before. And it's good to burn that off. And it's good. I'm never really subscribed to the idea that you need to go burn off all those calories in the gym the next day. Like that's never been me. You eat an extra 1,000, 2,000 calories more than you should have. And now you're going to go do it. I just always stick with the same workout and trying to lift something heavy, fires your body. And it's always good to have a different stimulus the day after, instead of just trying to go do a whole bunch of cardio with a full stomach and stuff like that. You can mimic some of the same stimulus by just going super heavy or really pushing it on that end with even a shorter duration, because maybe you feel like you just feel a little heavy the next day, and running and doing a bunch of cardio doesn't sound great. So
that's the mistake I make all the time. I made that mistake. Well, you just try to do your
Sure.
math that
Yeah.
turns into Steiner math somehow, and it doesn't make sense. Even though his totally did in that promo, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But when I look at that, I'm just like, okay, but you got to switch your mindset too. Like I always thought, I'm a cardio guy. Get on, do the cardio, burn the calories. Even if I just do a half hour to an hour, but in essence, I'm not firing off the muscles. And people have told me, like you said, the glycogen and all that stuff, I'm not feeding my muscles. If anything, I'm eating away at the muscles.
Sure.
But I'm not getting rid of those calories in the most efficient way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's true. And I think I
need to retrain my brain, dude. I have a lot of stuff that I wasn't. I've that's why we kid about the CrossFit, but in a way, I need to rewire the way I think about a lot of stuff. So
yeah,
I need your guidance.
Well, it was funny. I was talking to my dad about it the other day when I was with my dad. I was telling him, because my dad's almost 70 and he's been working out for years, and he loves to run. He does half marathons, things like that. But he was having a problem with his hip. And so we were talking about it, and we were talking about some movement patterns and things. And there's stuff that when I was getting my level 1 CrossFit deal, there's things that I've been working out for 20 plus years, but even that, it was still just totally was like, wow, okay. I never really thought about it like that. And then they were able to make little adjustments. And so little things, to your point, we all have to retrain our brains on what we thought we knew about fitness and working out. That everything we know is right, but it could be better, and do things a little better to make it more amplified. And that's a little tip here during the holidays. Try to learn new ways of fitness. Like, this is a great opportunity for you to experiment with your fitness and experiment with different things to do, so that come January, when you're ready to crush that new year goal or whatever you're doing for January, you've tried some different things and learned a little bit over the month and a half of the holidays, and really getting an idea of what works for you. Because I think learning different approaches is not a bad thing. Google different approaches to fitness. Google different things that you can do in your fitness to get through the holidays and things like that. There's all kinds of tips that are going to be out there. We're sharing a bunch of them today, but I think that's one that would be beneficial for everybody, is figuring out how you can learn a new thing or a new skill with your fitness over the holidays.
Another thing I would do, and this might be the hardest thing for people to do since they think they're busy and going to parties and doing all this stuff and getting ready for the holidays, I would join a gym today. Or
Yeah.
I'd start your home gym or do whatever.
Yeah.
Start working out now, because what you're going to do, if you apply what we just said and use the holidays as a cheat day once a week, you're
Yeah.
going to progress.
Sure.
If you're going to eat junk the entire time, but you're working out at the gym,
Yeah.
you're at least moving laterally and treading
Yeah.
water, which
No,
means
that's
you're
good.
ahead with January. Because if you wait a month and a half, and you're eating like crap, you're not getting proper rest, you're not drinking water, you're not working out and improving your body, then you're
Yeah.
going to be way behind in January. You're going to be that much more, apt to give up on it because you don't feel like you're making any progress.
Yeah.
I would join a gym today before Thanksgiving and get started, because guess what? The gyms are empty in November, December.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you can join now and get that foundation, and then January hits, you might be in a way, like we said before, 60, 90 days to say, you know what, I'll buy some gym equipment. I want to work out at home because I want to avoid all that crap.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait for stuff. I don't want to do
Yeah.
any of that stuff. And you're off to the races. You're ready
Yeah,
to
no,
go.
that's a great point. I mean, that's one of the things we've talked about in the past is to go into a gym and learning. If you're new to fitness, if it's something you've never done, go to a gym and learn and get with a trainer, go to a CrossFit gym and have them teach you the movements and stuff so that you're prepared. And then when in January, when the gyms get overwhelmed with people and you want to not be there and deal with the people, you at least know what to do. Right. And so you have a path to get started on. And now is a great time because, like you said, those gyms are just empty. But I think the big thing is just moving, continuing to move around the holidays is the important thing. Like join a gym, get working out, go to the gym, walk on the treadmill. If you've never been in a gym before, start there, get on an elliptical, whatever works for you, whatever you think you can start with, that's important. But there's other little things that you can do too. Like if you are going for Thanksgiving dinner and you're having lunch at, noon or whatever, when you get done, go for a little walk. Go, if it's a nice day, go outside. The whole thing on Thanksgiving, you go play football and play catch or whatever. And you have after dinner or after lunch. And it's a real thing to help your food start to digest better, to help the fasting process kick in so that you can start to metabolize your food a little bit quicker. So go do a quick walk, or before you go eat and sit down and eat, go for a walk that morning, move your body, try to get a workout in. Don't take the days off. Try to get a workout in. Even if you're eating late at night, try to go get a quick walk in. If you've got a treadmill at home, walk on the treadmill afterwards. It will help your body start to process all that food and not make you feel as crappy the next day so that you can, get back on track right away.
Yeah, that's the staple of the vertical diet, right? That after each meal, take a 10-minute walk.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I don't know much about
Stan
the vertical diet.
Effering, I believe his name is. Yeah. Luke Hawks was a big purveyor of that. He hates
Oh.
cardio, but vertical diet, you eat a meal and then you take a 10-minute walk because it's going to do stuff to your insulin. It's going to do stuff to, like you said, to digest.
Yeah.
It's going to have a lot of benefits there. And if you eat 3 meals a day and you walk 30 minutes a day, you're going to get steps in, and that might be your workout right there to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great starting point for a lot of people too. I mean, it's just being mindful of that to help your body. If you're new to fitness, that's a great starting point. Maybe going to a gym isn't in the cards right now. Maybe you have that excuse if you don't have time. Maybe you genuinely don't have time. Just finding a time to go for that quick walk after the workout. I mean, obviously you prioritize what you want. If it's important, you'll prioritize it, and your health is kind of important, so you should prioritize it. But whatever, I'll punch.
Well, we also saw in last week's episode when you start to make excuses. I hate to keep up, but it is something to reference when you make excuses, and then you get that plausible deniability, I guess, and you get that mindset. You can have that two opposing views at the same time. Like you're making, bless you, you're making excuses, but then you're blaming everybody else and no time, none of this. You're always, there's a famous saying, whether you can or can't, you're right.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's what it all comes down to. And if you're talking about eliminating, hey, you can take a walk, and guess what? You can take a walk and still watch your favorite TV show on your phone.
Yeah.
And there's your 22 or 30 minutes in a day.
Yeah.
You don't have to miss your favorite television show or favorite podcast or favorite whatever You
Yeah.
can take that walker, like you said, get on a piece of cardio and watch it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can you can multitask and have
Yeah.
both at the same time.
Yeah. That's one of the best things. The other night I was just after dinner, my wife was going to do some craft projects. She was going to do some sewing. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go out on my bike and just ride my bike. And I rode my bike, the air bike, for like 30 minutes and just put some YouTube on and watch some stuff and learned some stuff about gardening. That's what I was
Yeah.
watching, so like that's a great thing it's a great excuse. Like, give yourself this, okay, I can go splurge on this thing, or I can watch this Netflix episode, but I got to be walking on the treadmill while I do it. Right. And so like that little trick is a thing that you could use as a way to get into your fitness, or you got to be moving your body in some way, shape, or form. You can listen to this podcast, but you've got to be moving while you're doing it. Right. Like that's something that you can use through the holidays. I think, when it comes to this holiday conversation, everybody just gets in this mindset of, oh, it's the holidays. It's the holidays. It's the holidays. Well, let's flip that on its head. It's the holidays. Like, I got to be more diligent. I got to be more focused on my fitness, like I got to pay more attention so that I can enjoy the holidays more. Right. Like, I think I was able to have a great holiday weekend with my family this past weekend and recover from that the next day, because I splurged that night. I gave myself the permission to splurge and eat whatever I wanted that night, prioritize the protein. But then the next day I was back on it and I was back eating normal, clean, healthy diet. Yes, there were leftovers, but I still prioritized the protein and still focused on making sure that I was getting good quality foods, got into the intermittent fasting to help keep me through it. And so like, I'm even more hyper aware that it's the holidays now, so that I can be even better I do it so that I can eat more on the holidays. When I have family get-togethers, I want to just be able to eat. I don't want to have to worry about self-control and whatever. I just want to eat. I want to enjoy it. And so I'm way more diligent the rest of the days because of that.
Yeah, I mean, we work all year to be able to, we're kind of ahead of the game and different things happen.
Sure.
But with food, that's the thing too. Another mindset thing, and people tend to emotionally eat when they have problems, when they're sad, when they're happy, whatever it might be. The change in the mindset is when, and this is the hardest thing, and I haven't, if you and I could figure it out, we'd be billionaires right now. Figure out how to change from emotional eating to functional eating.
Sure.
Is this food going to serve me tomorrow in my workout? Is this food going to help me sleep? Is this food going to make me leaner, make me stronger, grow my muscles, burn fat? Nobody thinks that way. They're like, my job sucks. Reach for it's kind of a very contradictory thing. You're at it, and I feel for people because the hardest job in the world is a 9-to-5 job. I don't care what anybody says. What we've done and what we currently do is not the hardest job in the world, nowhere near the hardest. But when you go into an office where they don't treat you right, you're not, in this day and age, not making enough money, benefits are being cut down or the premiums are going up, but what you're getting is going down. And then on the other hand, they're bringing you the crappiest, most unhealthy food to eat.
Yeah.
You hate the job.
Sure.
But you're eating their food.
Yeah.
And making yourselves, I laugh about it, but it's a real thing that really is kind of sad in a way. It's kind of is it like a Stockholm syndrome type thing?
Yeah.
We're a little bit off on a tangent with that, but it's fascinating to look at that, of the dynamic of it, that this job, and they treat me like shit. Oh, donuts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a different thing there. But I think to give people a tip on getting through the holidays, I think it is the mindset of it. I mean, it's no matter what it is, your mindset is huge. And we talked about it just a little bit, is at the office, the mindset is, I don't want this. I need to get out of this. If you're not happy here, you don't fall into it. There's this thing called golden handcuffs. People give you the golden handcuffs. And part of that golden handcuffs is the money, the benefits, but then also the perks of the job. And you're like, oh, well, this is cool. And then you don't realize, oh no, I need to be working to get out of this. And focusing on the holidays to me is a Ed Milet uses this thing. He calls it separation season. And that's one of the quotes that he says all the time is it's separation season. Everybody else during the holidays, just, oh, it's the holidays. I'll do it after the holidays. I'll do it after Christmas. No big deal. After the new year, I'll start my thing. Now is where you can pull ahead. Now is where you can make a difference. Getting through the holidays and getting through Thanksgiving and Christmas and focusing on how do I make myself better so that when everybody else is slacking off, everybody else is taking a break right now, I'm getting ahead and I'm moving towards whatever my goal is. If you got a goal,
you make it competitive. You make it
Yeah.
very competitive. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you separate it's separation season. I mean, it's how you get ahead. And right now, when everybody else is slacking off and taking a break and chilling out and whatever, you're going to you're going to go the opposite direction, and you're going to be the one that takes that steps to make your life better, to make things better, to make your career better, to make your body healthier, to get in better shape, to focus on. Now's your January. Right now, today, start your new year, new you. Don't wait until January 1st. Start it right now. And then you can pull ahead of where other people are going to be going the opposite direction. You know, don't fall into that category of the average person, because the average person is going to totally just either maintain where they're at or go backwards, where right now you have an opportunity to go forwards. I know I'm going to go forwards right now, and I'm going to separate myself from the pack. And I know you're working on it too. So like, this is a call to everybody listening and everybody watching this is now's the time to make yourself better, because your little increments are going to be better than what the vast majority of other people are doing, because they're all going to go backwards.
That's going to be that's a big deal too, because that's going to kind of spider web out into everything. You're talking about if you're a job you don't like, you do the opposite of what the herd does. You do the opposite of what the narrative is. You do the opposite of what any mainstream media tells you to do. You live your own life. Sure. You're going to definitely be as free as you could ever be. And is it going to be easy? No, because it's easier to just fall in line, check every 2 weeks. And we're going beyond the diet, but eating and dieting and working out will force you to self-assess everything else. Yeah. If you're self-assessing the diet and the workouts and where you're at, the holidays and what you're ingesting, you're going to look around at everything else and say, well, I'm fixing these two things. Man, there's a lot more that I probably need to change. And you're going to be terrified. You're going to be scared, and you're going to get mad at us for bringing it up. But it'll be the best painful experience. You come out the other side of it. Sure. That's the important part.
Yeah. And I think that's the healthiest choice you can make right now, is to do that. You know, like we're talking about healthy choices during the holidays. That to me is the healthiest thing, is to evaluate and assess everything. Like you just said, is assess where you're at and now use this time to get ahead, because this is a great time to make changes and pull ahead and set yourself up for success in 2024. You know, everybody, you know, we've talked about that and using those days to get started with New Year's resolutions and stuff. And that's important. And you can use that to your advantage, but don't wait. You know, you do it now, crush the next month and a half, and crush your new year, new you, you know. And the healthiest choice, in my opinion, is getting your mindset right so that you can focus on separating from the pack big time.
I think the last thing we want to talk about as far as healthy choices, and it might not seem in line with a fitness show, especially a big one, since you're a big fitness show and I'm a medium one. This is a time, and this goes back to our overconsumption, and let's talk about over-consumerism. Because I think in this case, if you are going to be completely stressed out financially and live beyond your means, and everybody feels like they have to buy gifts and spend a ton of money and max out the credit cards, there is a physical health element to that. Cortisol, stress and cortisol. If you have that much financial stress and you're under the gun, you know, for spending this money, and you don't realize what the holiday, I mean, food's great, sitting around, being thankful, having gratitude. But then when it gets into the buying things and the credit cards and the material stuff, you can get in a lot of trouble, and that can lead to stress, which will affect your fitness journey. There was a time where my personal life, there was so much stress, there was so much anxiety, and I was overtraining like a MF. I was overtraining because I thought I could out-train the stress. Guess what happened? I had so much cortisol build up and my levels were so high because of the physical, emotional, mental stress
Sure.
that I got in worse shape
Sure.
because of the training because I couldn't out train it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's people might think, well, what's it got to do with it? Trust me from experience. If you're living beyond your means and if you're in a mental, emotional, stressful situation, no amount of cardio, no amount of weights, and no amount of a good diet is going to help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It all has to be it's self-assessment. Everything has to be optimized.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not, if one out of those 3 or 4 things isn't, it's all going to suffer.
That's 100% true, man. And yeah, you're right. The financial stresses, that's part of it too. Financial fitness is part of it as well. Like it's
I think we'll do an
because
episode on that. I think after the new year, because it's
yeah,
when people are like, holy shit, it's all maxed out. What am I going to do? Let's
yeah,
go.
but it I mean, you connect the dots though. Like think about it. If you're overstressed because this Christmas you gotta spend all this money to buy presents and do all these things and you don't have the money for it. And so you're stressing about it. So then you think about it, your mind's like a muscle and your mind's if you work it too much, it's going to give out at some point. And your willpower is like a muscle. You're going to work it too much, it's going to give out. And if you constantly are stressed because of finances, stressed because of kids, stressed because of marriage, stressed because of work, stressed because of this, stressed because of that, stressed because of it's so easy and even easier during the holidays to turn to food. And then you make that choice. And then the compound effect, we've talked about that, then it compounds and then the stress doesn't go away because now you ate food and now you feel like a turd. And now the stress is more because then you feel bad about doing this. And then it's just this vicious cycle. And so now is a great time to reset everything, I have kids and a wife and Christmas is coming up. So we're going to want to get them presents, but we're not going to go crazy. We're not going to spend all kinds of money. My wife and I don't even buy presents for each other. If we do, it's like maybe a $5 thing, just something little to show that we, that is an inside joke that only the two of us will understand, right? Like it's just a little thing because we prioritize the kids for Christmas. And then we prioritize our sanity as well and not overspending what we have to do. Cause we got a big family and we want to be giving and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's not about the gifts. It's about the time together as a family. And I think now more than ever, given the cultural climate we're in and the inflation of the world that is happening with finances and stuff, is a great time to focus on maybe not do as many gifts, do what you want to do. I'm not telling you what to do, but like, I think it's understanding that it's going to have a effect on everything else and potentially set you up for failure in your fitness and your health because of making bad choices with the stresses that come. I think it's important to at least be aware of that when making your financial purchases for sure.
Well, dude, I mean, you've been out, you see people,
Yeah.
you look around and you're like, where do these people get the money? I mean,
Yeah.
they're not a wealthy X Endurance founder like you. So how can they spend that kind of money? You are stop it. So, but they are, but they are as the economy gets worse, they're spending more. We see the parking lots, they're packed.
Yeah.
But I will say this too. If people think, well, what's that got to do with eating and this and that? I can see if I stress eat, I guarantee you 100 times out of 100, if you're financially stressed, and this is a weird, once again, contradiction, if you're financially stressed or any kind of other stress, but especially, I guess, when people are under the gun financially, what do they do when it comes to eating? They eat out. They go for fast food. They go to a restaurant. They don't like withdraw. People like us who try to live more frugally all the time and are super aware of finances are tuna and rice, eggs and rice, cheap food, that kind of stuff. But it's a weird dichotomy, isn't it? That when you're the most financially stressed are the ones going to Disney, Universal, restaurants. And it's a crazy, crazy, weird 1984 doublethink.
It is ridiculous, like when you're financially stressed, because I've lived that life, and it's because the stress compounds. And so now you're stressed with the finances, you're stressed with work, you're stressed with this, you're stressed with this. And then you don't prioritize the food. And then you're like, well, what are we going to do for dinner? Oh crap. Let's just go get something. Right. And then you
Get a
think
pizza
it's
or
easier.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. You think it's easier, and you think it's quicker, and you think it's better. But honestly, like, it's not at all. If you got to go get the pizza, if you got to go buy it, if you got to wait for it, if you, let's say, you do Uber Eats right now or DoorDash, you order it, it's going to take 45 minutes for the food to get here. And right. So you're waiting for the 45 minutes to an hour for the food to arrive. You could have cooked a full meal in 45 minutes,
Yeah.
like, it's just so
you
silly.
get a meal prepped in 45 minutes. Now, yeah, 10, 15 bucks for a pizza. That's about what it is for a decent one. Say 10 bucks.
Sure.
I went and got eggs. Eggs have finally kind of come down a little bit.
Yes.
I bought 48 eggs, 18. Well, it was 18 times. So I screwed it up. It's a lot of eggs.
Yeah.
So I bought 3, packages of 18 eggs.
Yeah.
And I think it was under $6.
Sure.
That's a week's worth of eggs for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to put them in salad. I'm going to put them in rice. I'm going to just eat them the way they are. I might have them with like an English muffin or something if I want some bread.
Sure.
It's a week's worth of meals, not counting the tuna and the other stuff that I prep.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get. And it fills you up. You eat a pizza and you're like, well, I know I didn't get any protein out of that. So what am I going to eat now? What am I going to get? And it's just crazy. I just want people hopefully to be able to change their mindset. I was hoping that this really, really bad economy that's potentially going to get a lot worse would smarten people up. And hopefully the holiday seasons this year, I should say, will switch people's priorities.
Yeah.
But it's something that hopefully our listeners and viewers can get that guidance from us. But people are very much set in their ways, dude.
Yeah.
We saw it last week.
Yeah.
They'll make up any excuse you can to fuel your narrative and fund your whatever you spend on.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. And I think
bad memories. I'm bringing back bad memories. Sorry.
Even editing that, it was just like, God, this is terrible. But whatever. Anyway, so but to kind of wrap up this conversation about how to get through the holidays, I really think I would encourage everyone listening to use this as an opportunity to get better. Use it as an opportunity. Still indulge on the days that you're going to have family things, because you're not going to have a family thing every day for 35, 40 days. You're just not gonna, right? And if you do, wow, that good for you. That's great. I mean, if you're having that much time with family. But I know for me that I'm going to have maybe 5 days where I'm going to be with family over the next 45 days. And for those 5 days, I'm going to eat because I want to eat. But the other 40 days, I'm not going to let the 5 ruin the 40. And so if you can just change your mindset, focus on this is an opportunity to get better and to really prove that you have the willpower, prove that you have the desire to get where you want to go, and not let the rest of it. And don't just chalk it up as, oh, it's the holidays. Oh, it's Thanksgiving, so I'm going to eat whatever I want. Be focused on the days that you're not having family get-togethers to do the things that you need to do to set yourself up for success so that you can enjoy, do it now and focus on it now. And I promise you'll be better off come January for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? You won't have a family forever. So really cherish the time and share the food and have a good time and create those memories, because those are the things that actually will fuel you in a more positive way to want to take care of yourself and be around your family for a very long time. So just take the note in that.
Totally. All right. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in this week's episode of the Big Fitness Show. Appreciate the feedback.
I got to watch that documentary now. You ready?
Yeah.
Documentary. Okay, you don't want to do it.
I appreciate the feedback. We definitely appreciate the feedback that we've been getting on the episode. I mean, it's only, as of the day of recording this, it's only been out for a day for last week's episode. But there was one piece of feedback here that I want to read just to kind of, because it made me feel good. I'm sure it made Stevie feel good too. From @TollyDT on YouTube. He said he was a bit I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. Sorry. I don't want to make assumptions. But I was a bit apprehensive about watching this video. I tend to avoid videos and channels that deal with the downfall of YouTubers, as the majority of these tend to take perverse pleasure in kicking people when they're down and make a quick buck off their misery while they're at it. I'm glad that I gave you guys the benefit of the doubt. You both showed class and integrity using the video to inspire people to be and do better rather than dogpiling on Boogie. And in parentheses, it says, not that he doesn't have himself to blame. And so that just made me feel good, because that was the goal of the episode last week, was to help inspire people to be better and use it as a cautionary tale. So thank you, Tully, for that comment. I'm very, very appreciative of that. For everybody else, if you got some value from this episode, please share it with somebody who you might also get some value from it as well. Next week, we're going to talk about fasting. That's the plan. We're going to go over some of that and some of the things that we've done in regards to fasting. And for myself, for medium, soon to be big Stevie Cool, this has been the Big Fitness Show, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, everybody.
At least I can fit in that now.
Bye-bye.